Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues. Where are we? March 15th, 2025 at approximately 9 p.m. BST. Now, I've made it my life journey to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I built myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools that I use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the exact same philosophies I guide virtually every decision I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people with varying degrees of success over the years, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, before we get into things, we have Storm in the background running the whole technological show, which is a good thing the way technology has been going for me lately. He's also the main moderator that makes sure that problem children stay off the air. Okay, now understand, if you come in here to be a problem child, there's no problem. Storm will find you, pop you outside. You won't be able to interact, but you'll still be able to listen. Okay. I've long held that I am an equal opportunity annoyer. Okay, so I just treat people the same way that I desire to be treated. But positive perceptions has to be maintained, in my opinion, as a safe place for everybody. Now, that does mean that we got to follow the guidelines. Now, with that in mind, we are dealing with, we talked about NDE, about the near-death experience yesterday, and we did make the comment, pretend you died. Today, we reclaim power over your life, or more to the point, you claim power over your life. So, the first thing you got to decide on, okay, quite literally, and it comes down to this neat little sign here. Okay, I'm not going far, don't worry. This neat little sign, I'll be working on it this summer, that's for certain. But if you haven't done it already, these 4 words, I am worth it, get them on your fridge. These are the 4 most powerful words in any combination that I've found in any language, okay, regarding self-worth, self-appreciation, avoiding self-reprisal. You're looking at self-improvement. Let me ask you this, and this is the question you're really going to ask. Are you content with the way your life is right now? Okay. If the answer is yes, okay. Most people are not content with the way their life is. But how do you go about changing it? So we're going to kickstart it right now. We're not going to give you a 7-second rule or a 7-second tool to take place next week. I'm going to give you one right now. Now, wherever you're sitting, okay, it doesn't matter where you're sitting, unless you're driving. Then don't do this. Okay, listen to it later and do it then. But take a look wherever you are. Where we start is going this. Are you content with your life? If the answer is yes, you're fine. If the answer is no, it's time to assess right off the bat. Think of one thing in your life that you have dominant control over and make a change to that. Okay, you're not going to stop your energy. You can't go back and stop having and change the past. But you can take a look at what you've done, where you are now, and go, okay, from this point forward, I'm doing things differently. Now, let me ask you, what's your definition? Not mine. I got my own, and we'll get to that later. But if you're not getting the first thing I look at is, okay, I'm not content with my life. It's got to change. Okay, so what is success? Now, for me, it's real simple. Okay, if I've got a roof over my head, food in my house, and my utilities are all up to date, I'm successful. Okay, now I'll tell you, I ran into a real snag over the last little while. You guys have seen some of it, but my boys have stepped up to the plate and gone, okay, let's all work together and make sure this house stays running. Because I'll tell you, we've got a sweet deal for rent where we are, but I've been here for a decade. So that might explain that. But with that in mind, what we're looking at is you've got to decide, first of all, what do you consider success? That's a very important question. Then you take a look at it and go, what do I call, do I desire to be successful? Now, I don't know about you, but I prefer earning my own wage, earning my own income. Right now, that's not the way it is. What do we got here? Oh, Christine, you are actually in with the gold. Glad you can make it. Now, I look at success and go, okay, I've got to have a stable income now. I'm retired at this point. As a matter of fact, I'm now literally retired because one contract I had just folded. Okay, 16 and a half years with the same company, it closed. Ferret, you are in with the silver. Welcome and welcome back. I trust things are interesting on your end of the world. Now, ask yourself, are you content? Now, what do you consider success? Let me hear. Oh, okay. Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I'm just looking at this going, okay, I'm not sure who mentioned food, but that's okay. I can work with that. But the answer to your question from my end was real simple. Okay. And that is, I just put rice with pork together, use some gravy broth, mix that in, threw some celery in, and some pinto beans. Whole 9 yards, worked out well enough. Now, okay, Ferret, how about we stabilize your life? Okay, now, do understand, I can give you the key to it, but you're the one that's going to have to do it. Okay, first thing you do, take a look at your office. The reason I say your office, i.e., wherever you are working on your finances, wherever you work on your organizing, that's the brain of your house and or your business. Okay, so get the area cleared. Right now, I've got my deck cleared completely. Okay, I've got a stack of stuff that of paperwork that I've got to change to soft copy, but that'll happen in the next couple of days here. With that in mind, everything else is out of the way, so you get the clutter out of the way, and here's why. By clearing the clutter off the deck, off your office desk, number one, energy flows much more freely. Number two, you will be able to think more clearly. Now, you don't have to take my word for this. As a matter of fact, I recommend you don't. But if your office is not clear, get it clear and note the differences. Okay. Hey, gravity works. Now I always recommend, as you know, I keep a clipboard handy. Matter of fact, I keep more than one. But make a list. Make a list. You only need to put you only require 3 things to start with. Okay, but make those things 15 minutes to half an hour in length. Okay, we'll start with 3. Doesn't matter what they are, by the way. But when you get one done, check it off and add a third. The reason for that is it gives you a constant flow. Don't forget to write down when you got to have a break. Oh, oops. Yeah, I mentioned food, Philip, because LA Moon continually asks to make sure I've had something to eat. Not to and not to mention my other half. My fiance is kind of worried about it at the same time. But I figure if you got a roof over your head, okay, that's a place to start. I will tell you though, when it comes to straightening your life out, it is not done overnight. It's going to take time. Think about it. However old you are, it wasn't your life didn't, in all likelihood, get turned over upside down in the last couple of days. In fairness, you've probably spent months, okay, if not years, getting twisted around to the point you are. Now, for me, I've got the deck clear now. Okay, that's the first step. Now, take a look at it, regardless of what happened. Remember, we talked yesterday. Yesterday, you had a near-death experience. You got a chance to look at where your life actually is and start making changes to it. This is the critical factor, because if you leave it the way it is, it's going to stay the way it is. Okay? And I hate to be the one, no, I don't. But all the prayers, all the wishful thinking, all the positive affirmations are absolutely useless if you don't get off your tail feathers. Okay? So I hate to tell you this. No, I don't. That's a really bad comment coming from me. Okay? But you have to be the one that is responsible for your own life changing. Now, let me ask you this. All things being equal, if you had the opportunity, what would you be doing with your life right now? Because this is the point of starting over. Okay, you just got up. This is the first day of the rest of your life. Let's get it on the right track, shall we? I know for me, I've got my friend now. I know you can't see it, but I've got my filing cabinet over here, the top sorted. Well, no, that's not entirely true. But they're in the process of getting sorted because I'm using this list method. Okay, and because of the list method, I've already got Rachel Andrews. How you doing? Glad you could join us. And I screwed something. Came in with the gold. Ferret came in with the silver. Philip came in with the bronze. And that puts you, Rachel, in with the honorable mention. And you are followed immediately thereafter by Poetically Mistaken. Yeah, Poetically goes, often I find after cleaning all the clutter and organizing things, I forget where things are and end up spending a frustrating amount of time looking for things. The key there, and it's just what I found, is don't change it all at once. Do it one step at a time. And that's why I said you start with your actual office. Okay, I started by literally taking the desk under my left-hand monitor here and clearing all the clutter off of it. Okay, and then I had things that ended up on it that's where they go. Okay, because as you get used to using things, you'll remember where they are. Okay, didn't want to lose that anyway. So that's why I started with the office itself. But break it down into small sections. The one thing you've got to remember is if you've got a big job ahead of you, breaking it down will make it easier to get it organized and keep it organized so you can find it. Because like you, I used to live in a warehouse, amounted to a warehouse. I had things all over the place, cluttered like you wouldn't believe. But I could remember where everything was. Second I started sorting it out and straightening things out, I ran into a problem. And now what I'm doing is just reorganizing things to make sure that they are where I desire them to be, which is why I end up standing up on occasion. Because this stuff, it'll get sorted out tomorrow. Partially. But I'm just going to pop these out of the way so that I don't have to figure it out later. You know, the thing is, by looking at your life the way it currently is, okay, it's absolutely imperative that you really take a look at, okay, I'm starting now. Don't go throwing everything out. Okay, this is just an expensive maneuver. But start looking at the stuff you've got and go, is this stuff that I really require? You know, like even with this, and I'm not going to do this right now, but when you come back on Monday when I'm in with a day in the office, assuming the computer decides to work, then I deal with things. Okay. But the thing with reclaiming power over your own life, you're starting today, whatever's happened for the rest of your life, for the beginning part of your life, it's happened already. You're stuck with the side effects of what happened. Now it's time to move forward. You know, the neat part about it is you're the one that controls how quick it goes. Now, I'm not here to tell you got to get your life straightened out now. But all procrastination is going to do for you is delay you becoming successful in your eyes. Now, one of the biggest challenges that you'll find is, you know, you got to follow karmic law. But the hardest person to be really honest with for most people is themselves. Okay. I finally, after all the mess I've been going through, finally got my feet on the ground, at least momentarily, and am able to actually move forward. But now you're looking at it and you go, okay, I'm sitting in my office. There's my office. There's my brain. Okay. Now, the other really important one, and most people overlook this, okay, is make sure you clear the clutter away from your bed. Okay. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter the size of your bed. Get the bed cleared. You'll find you sleep better. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. And again, don't take my word for it. Experience it. It is the best teacher. Assuming, of course, you're not getting burnt. And if you're sleeping on the stove, quite frankly, you deserve it. But what we got to remember is your life is your life to decide on. Yes, you got to live within karmic law. You got to live within societal law. But let me ask you this. Who puts your shoes on in the morning? Odds are you do. I mean, there are some of you that don't. Some of you that don't have to. And those people I feel, you know, I do feel for. Yep, this is why I usually do things earlier. But that being said, you know, I've been going through coffee, and the ironic part of it is coffee does nothing for energy levels for me. Mind you, I've tried the energy drink thing. I can grab those 5-hour energy drinks, drink one of those, and within minutes I'll be asleep for an hour. I think something's wrong on that. But where you go now is it's time to organize your life. But remember, this is not an instantaneous turnover. Okay, this is something you have to put concerted effort and focus into. So what I've done here, I started off by getting a 10-foot wide desk cleared. Okay. Then I've got my inventory over here, my inventory of different books available, all right here. That's a hard copy. inventory. Okay, and what popped up there? I think we got another and instability in the network for the moment, but we'll see how that happens, how that goes. You know, it's funny you should mention Cobbler's Hills there, Philip, because here's the thing. For me to make my life work, I had to make a couple of decisions. Okay, and with that in mind, I'm actually painting or finishing different projects as gifts. Okay, rest assured, I'm not cruel, so I'm not cooking for anybody. Well, maybe I am cruel. But when we start looking at gifts, okay, you can give yourself a gift as well. And this is something that most people completely overlook, regardless of what your paycheck is. If at all possible, and 90% of the time it's possible, take 1% off the top of your income, whatever the check is. Now that means $1 out of 100. Okay, take 1% and put it in your pocket for you to spend as you please. This is called mad money. Okay, at least that's what I got told it was called. But here's the thing. By taking that $1 off out of $100 check, you're taking $1. That's it. Okay. But by doing that, you go out and buy a chocolate bar if you'd like. Okay, or maybe half of one. But by doing that, you change the energy of your money from I'm working to pay my bills and paying my bills. Okay, ultimately it boils down to knowing what your income is. And yes, I am working on, we discuss that here quite regularly. But the thing with, now that you've had a near-death experience, now reorganize your life. You've had a chance to look at where it was, like we discussed yesterday. Okay, you've had the opportunity to see what your life has become. Are you content with it? If not, now is the time to change it. Don't wait till April 1st. I guess it will be April 1st. Don't wait till Christmas. Effective now. Okay, by becoming active in your own well-being, you're going to find your life takes a turn for the better. Now, to this end, here we are on the 15th of March, and April's Positive Perspectives is already fully complete. I've started working on May's. And as we discussed, that magazine will be coming out on the 29th of March. Okay, that's just the way it's going. But like I said, if you'd like a copy of it, there is absolutely zero negative energy or negative reporting. Well, that's not actually 100% correct. Let me just see if I've got it here. Perspectives. There we are. Okay. That's May's, but the pertinent thing here is the bottom end of it. Where is my bad news? I'm just looking for what I actually did for a bad news report. And of course, I can't find there's the good news, so bad's got to be down here. Oh, here we are. This is literally a quote from Positive Perspectives magazine. And this is why I say rewrite your life. Okay. This is literally what is written in there. Where are we? There. We here at Inner Voice Enterprises readily acknowledge that bad things do happen in this world. As such, we have chosen to do like so many other periodicals and other reporting agencies do, and write an article on the bad things that happen around the world. So, as you travel about your life, find another newspaper, magazine, post, newsletter, or news channel site by which to get disappointed in people and or depressed. That's our bad news. That's it. Go find it. Okay. In your life, focus on what you can, what you're happy with. If you find something you're not content with, you're the one that has the opportunity to change it. And you can sit there and get all the inspiration you'd like from anybody. Whether this means sitting down by your bed, putting your elbows on the bed, putting your hands together and praying, or maybe you're a person that sits there and touches your forehead to the ground while you're praying. Doesn't matter how you do it. Okay, I personally recommend against sitting in the lotus position, just because, well, in my case, I dislocate both knees. But all the prayers in the world don't actually make things happen, but they will grant you inspiration. Okay, I mean, if you think about, well, it's different. If you think about it, you're the one in all likelihood that has to put your own shoes on. So what we're looking at in this world is simple. Okay, you've got a life to live. It's time to make the most of it. Yes, you got to keep finances in consideration. Okay, and we're going to be covering all of that over the next little while here. But this is your time to claim power over your life. Absolutely turn to the people around you to get either assistance, guidance, or just encouragement. Okay, and by the way, neat part here, okay, is that humans are not the only one that do the same thing. Virtually every race I have dealt with says the same thing. How do we get started? Our life, it's been this way for thousands of years. So what? Okay, in a nutshell, no matter how long something's been there, no longer how long a pattern has been held, if the pattern is ineffective, it's time to change it. And waiting for the elected, chosen, forced leaders to make a change. Take a look at your life. Start with your own house. As a matter of fact, start with your own office. Okay, because by making the changes there, you're going to alter the life of other people you come in contact with, because they are likely to take your efforts as an inspiration. Don't you love when I forget what word I'm going to use? All in all, it really is a question of, where do you desire your life to go? Okay, are you content with it? Now, the reality of it for me is I'm no longer content with the way my life is at all. So I'm rebuilding it from the ground up. But I'm not sitting there. I'm not going, I wish somebody else would change my life. I have made comment, if you're going to have a war, somebody give up my address and just, I don't feel like cleaning up again. Okay, but while I'm here, I'm still going to work on things. Now, in your guys' case, the thing you got to remember, why do I keep doing that? Thing you got to remember is you're the one that's got the control over your life. Okay, so we've started the day off, and I will tell you, biggest trick in the book that people don't seem to get. Don't worry about what time you're going to bed. Pick a time to get up in the morning. Now, I will tell you, the massive majority of people, the most successful people in the world are up between 5 and 6 o'clock a.m. local time. Okay, that's when they get started. Now, I encourage you to do the same thing. Set the alarm and get up. Now, the reality behind it is you desire to reclaim power over your own life. There's a lot of good, talented artists, writers out there, and a lot better at speaking, apparently. Okay, but there we go. But here's the thing. This little book, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, walks you through the simplest steps in the world in your life for the better, of putting control back in your hands. Okay, now yes, whatever you dug yourself into, it's going to take time to clear. Okay, but there are easy steps to do it. Now, of course, with this book and any of the others I've got, go to the top of the chat room and look at the Buy Me a Coffee link. And for those of you that are not in the chat room, if you go to www.buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej, you'll get right to my whole selection of books, consulting, the whole 9 yards. Okay, now I've decided I'm not content with my life. Okay, so I'm changing it. But before anybody jumps on that, wait, that sounds really odd. Anyway, if you don't know how to go about doing it, contact me. I will absolutely help you. Okay, now to be clear on the consulting side, okay, I have been paid in excess of $2,600 an hour. I only charge $20 every 15 minutes. Okay, but I will tell you, you desire your life to change, you can do it. Okay, and the real catch to it is realizing that really is a catch. Realizing you do have the ability to change your life for what you consider the better. Okay, now, where do you start? Wherever you are. Okay, really intense on you have to do it in this method, in this order. No, you don't. Okay, I talk about the way I do things because that's how I do them. It gives me a functional reference point. But where it comes to what you're doing after the near death, okay, you're still breathing. Now, dying is easy. The options are pretty variable on how you can do it. Living is the challenge. Now, we're taught right from the get-go, if you don't have enough money to survive on, cut back, deprive yourself of whatever. I'm telling you, they missed the boat. I tried that method, didn't work. Okay, so here's one that works. If you don't have enough income, find a new way to make high. Okay. Now that's just the reality of it. And this is why when I've redesigned to redesign positive perspectives. Okay. And now I've got it laid out the way I like it. And end up working. But what you got to do with your life is sit down, take a breath, grab a cup of coffee, whatever it is you got to do. Okay. And literally get started. It's not a question of throw anything out. I've talked to people, they go, oh, if you want something new, you got to throw out the old. Not right off the bat. Okay. You don't have to put yourself into hardship to start changing your life. But it would be wise to acknowledge the fact that you can change your life. So what you do is wherever you are, and like I said, for getting the brain working, absolutely your office. wherever you're working on it. But if your bed is cluttered, I personally recommend getting the bed itself cleared so that you can sleep on it. Now, some of you sleep in recliners. Well, newsflash, that becomes the thing we call your bed. Okay, but you still get the energy moving on it, which means get the clutter out of the way. Make certain that you're not hanging on to stuff you don't require. Okay. Now, what is that? Interesting. I don't know what that's for, but that's okay. Anyway, now that you're getting ready to get your life in order, I personally very aptly put poetically mistaken goes, you don't remodel a home by starting with demolishing the foundation. Definitely not. The foundation, in all likelihood, is still where it belongs. But with that in mind, you absolutely start remodeling a home by assessing whether you're content with the way it is. Now, I do know many people, it's like, oh, I'm going to start with this room. They get it done, now I got to do the next room. There's no problem. There's no order in particular you have to. There's no order in particular that you have to do it in. But there are correlations in your house as far as organs go. And what I've done a little article in Positive Perspectives that explains which parts of your house are connected to which energy patterns. I recommend you look at it because I've never seen it done before. Okay. So, what we're doing is you're rebuilding your entire life from the ground up. Okay. Now, I'd love to say do it from the up down, from the etheric plane to the ground. Problem: if you go with the axiom that the way your house looks is, the way your house looks is a reflection of the way your mind is working. If you buy into that axiom, then the reverse must also be true. That the state of your mind is likely a reflection of the state of your house. This is why, when you look at your house, if the energy is running smoothly, you may be running into motivation problems. Energy reserves may go out the window. This is why we get this all cleared up. Okay. One of the hardest things to realize is you're the one that controls it. You're the one that's got to get up and make the changes, not somebody else. And I will tell you, pray to God all you'd like, or call it. Okay? Understand they're not coming down to change your shoes. They gave you free will. They gave you freedom of choice. They did not give you freedom from consequence. So when you're looking at changing your life, take a look at what you desire and work it through one step at a time. Okay, now I will tell you, when I started doing this has been a long time coming. But I am now in the filing cabinets and getting rid of them while I'm getting rid of the Xbox. The Xbox work. Not the least of which, we've got 12 over there, but what do we got? So I'm concurrently writing 30 books right now. Apparently, by the way, that's not retirement. But don't get carried away with things. It still holds that you do things, get 1 15-minute to half-hour job and check it off, add another one to the list. Okay. In this way, you can stay organized. I'll tell you, word for it. check it out and do your own research. The difficult part of all of this, whatever you've been through, it has left a mark. Okay, I've got a lot of hiccups. I've got a lot of areas of conflict that I've got to work through. But the thing is, I cannot change the past. What I can do is alter the way my future is going. And this is why, when the meeting happens this coming week, I'm walking into it going, here's what I require, now let's move forward. And if I don't get what I require, I'm not dealing with the rest of it. Could be a very short meeting in that. But when it comes to things you control, i.e., your house, your office, get that dealt with in a way that you think. Now, I have to, I really do encourage you to take matters into your own life, into your own hands, and really start adjusting things. In this way, you can alter the energy flow around you now. It will take time. Odds are the river around you has worked its way into a bit. So it's going to take some work to break out of that. But the average turnaround time to break a habit or make one is 21 days. 2-1. Okay? But it takes effort. That's the difficult part of all of it. Now, with that in mind, when we start looking at the different books that I've got, that is one of the areas of success that I'm looking at, because here's the kicker. I know I've got a lot of information in a lot of different topics, but the best information in the world is useless if you don't know where to find it. So now it's time to start making that happen. And I know there's Blue, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The neat part about it is you've got control over it. You've been told, oh, good night, Ferret. You have a good, one, and we will see you the next time, I hope. Remember, we do run a day in the office between 4:30 and 6:30 Monday and Friday. Okay, so absolutely drop in and say hi. When we take a look at the way your world is going, many people go, well, the government's responsible for the state I'm in. No, the government is responsible for whatever the income tax rate has been set at, but not on how you spend your money. And of course, if you don't know how to handle your money properly, well, yes, I've managed to get that done too. Like I said, I cover a lot of different areas. But one thing I will tell you, where it comes to my finances, this is why I say I know what I'm doing. Okay. At the beginning, I started with a certain amount of money at the beginning of January. I had more at the end of January. So I moved it over. I had more. I had my stuff in February. And then at the end of February, I had more again. And that is changing. That is what I'm putting in motion. So when I say I know how to make it happen, it's because I'm doing it. And this is where you come in. That was 90. Okay. This is where you take a look at your life and go, where do I desire my life to go? That's the real kicker for you. I mean, yes, you woke up today and you went, I'm not changing because I'm not ready to. Well, the reality is, if you're not successful now and you don't change what you're doing, you're not going to be successful a week down the road either. Okay. The one constant in the universe is change. Woo Rider, how you doing? Glad you could join us. If you desire your life to get better, it is absolutely imperative that you make changes to your routine, however you can go about setting them up. Now, I am constantly on the go. Okay, I somehow don't think I really know how to relax. But with that in mind, I do know that I've got to make things happen in order to get ahead. It's just a royal pain in the neck in a lot of ways. But when you take a look at where your life is, okay, fine. Now, everybody around the world, no matter your age, your size, same thing. You can only produce 1 hour of work per person. Okay, that's all you got to work with. But you can make that change. You can alter the way you're going and become much more successful at it. But the question comes back around to, what do you consider is the mark of a successful individual? That's the thing that we got to look at. And I will tell you, the list method I've laid out multiple times works like a charm, because it takes a big project and turns it into smaller ones. Okay, and I hope, I don't know for certain if I do, but I wonder. And of course not. Go down here to that one. And we minimize those. Okay, are we? That's April. Now, I have a whole pile of things happening there. But that's because I've got this great big dream that says, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. There will be some of you that are disappointed, and some of you that think you should be above other people. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Find a ladder. You'll be above other people. Yeah, I do have the breakdown of the anatomy of a home. Okay, we are looking at the chakras. Okay, now here's the thing. Most Reiki, most healers work with 7 chakras. The really good ones work with 9. I've got 49, I think. $13, $15, $17, $19, $21, $3, $5, $7, $9, $31, $33, $34, $35, $37, $39, $39, $41, $42, $43, $44, $45, $46, $47, $48, $49, 49 different chakras. And the more in line with each other you get them, the more creatively powerful you're going to be. Do understand, if you put this method to work and you use it ineffectively, you use it in a negative fashion, it will come back and bite you. Karmic law is simple. Energy out, energy in. Your call whether that's good energy you're drawing back or whether it's bad. But it is time to start making it happen. Yeah, we go all the way through there. Numerology. These are all laid out in the April edition. Okay, because the reality of it is this. You desire your life to change. You've had your death. Now it's time to get up and get active. Okay. And as you do that, you'll find your life takes a major turn for the better. Okay, but you're the one that's going to have to do the work. Now, let me just double check. Yep, there we are. The neat part with all of this said and done is it is absolutely imperative, no matter who you point the finger at. I grew up military. I know the game pass the buck. Poetically goes, a successful individual to me is someone who thrives on the work they love and live to do. I'm hoping you're doing something you absolutely love. Okay. And I mean, I've always held, if you're not content with the job you're doing, start looking, look for a new one. But keep your current job until you've got a replacement income. Now, for me, success does boil down to enough money over my head, in my pocket to actually keep a roof over my head. But the thing I enjoy doing is writing. Okay, this I do because it's an easy way to get people to actually think. Okay, now granted, they might be thinking that man is a lunatic. Okay, and I can't be. Number one, I don't go outside at night, so I can't be Luna. But the real question I keep asking people, because so many people are caught up in the negative whatever's going on, so many people are getting depressed over it. It's time to start looking at something to get excited over. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. So when you're taking a look in and when you're taking stock of your life, ask yourself, are you doing something that is moving you forward or clearing something out of the way to enable you to experience joy? Okay, this is one of those things that you really look at, because if you're not experiencing joy, you're missing something really, really enjoyable, aka joy. But it's up to you to make it happen. Okay, that's the biggest thing we got to remember. You've had your death. Now it's time to get up, dust your jeans off, and get to work on making your life the way you desire it. Okay, and I know many people, it's like, I don't have control over my own life. Many of you have that problem. Okay, and the reality to that is you're the one that's going to have to make some changes. Okay, not the least of which is moving forward and actually doing something. Okay, you can't sit there and sit on your armchair and go, I desire my TV to move across the room. My guess is you're not going to make it happen. Okay, so it's time to get off your tail feathers and reclaim power over your life. And yeah, I know how difficult that can be. The reality is, the more you get the clutter out of your way and you start getting little projects done, like for instance, I've got to, when I'm working on positive perspectives, I've got a number of things I got to work on, different articles and what have you. But now I'm looking at combining the writings so that as these newsletters get out, as these magazines get out, I can combine the information. Okay, and where is it? Over there. Okay, now I'm just scanning back up here. That would be paranormal. All the way up, of course. But when you start looking at success, okay, you got to realize there's a couple of areas that you got to look at. Your financial success. How much do you have enough money to be content? Okay, your material success? Do you have the trinkets that you would really like to have? Okay, then you got your finance, your trinkets, then you got your health. Okay, in other words, are you actually feeling like your health is improving? If not, it's time to get to work on it. Okay, and then of course you gotta have this thing of, are you enjoying your outdoors? Because you gotta have that sorted around at the same time. One of the most I've come across is, how do you move forward with your life if you don't know where to begin? So here's where to begin. Okay, literally where to begin. Got it. Literally where to begin is right where you are. Thanks so much for that, Storm. Now, we are down to the last 5 minutes, and this is where we turn around and go, tomorrow on Positive Perceptions, we are going to look at the feline races. Okay, at the sentient feline like cats, as compared to your domestic ones. Okay, so that'll be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Pacific. Okay, now, until then, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. And that said, I will talk to you again tomorrow. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.